It's no secret that Jeffree Star is problematic, and because of this, he's been called out for his behavior practically his entire career. But even though allegations against him continue to mount year after year, it seems that Jeffree is never actually held accountable. And with the recent allegation that he non-consensually grabbed a man's butt at a concert, I thought we should take a deeper dive into his past and talk about a slew of allegations that came out in 2020. These allegations were revealed in an explosive article written by Kat Tembaraj for Insider on October 1st of 2020, detailing assault claims as well as allegations of hush money offers. But first, make sure to subscribe if you're new here and want to see more videos like this. Also, quick trigger warning that we will be discussing topics of assault and things of that manner in this video. Jeffree Star rose to fame on MySpace in the early 2000s for being edgy, flamboyant, and using shock factor to keep people's attention. He later transitioned into music, where he performed at concerts like the Warped Tour. He also became known for getting physical with people and hurling racial slurs on multiple occasions. But it seems like there's also a lot more shocking behavior from his past. An insider actually tracked down 4 people who stated that Jeffree groped multiple men without their consent. 5 people also told the outlet that he would use a taser and stun gun on men who refused his advances. 5 people also confirmed to the outlet that they saw Star tase a homeless teenager in 2009 after he rejected Jeffree's advances. That teen said that Jeffree Star later fed him Ambien, so he was easier to take advantage of. Now to dive deeper into these allegations, it was apparently a known thing that Jeffree would violate people, with Zach Neil, a longtime former Warped Tour stage manager, telling Insider, quote, "I've seen him grope both guys and girls. I think anybody that's seen him in concert has seen that. It's just part of his thing, feeling people up and groping people." One of the main allegations in the article was from Gage Arthur, who first encountered Jeffree in 2008 when he was 17. A year later in 2009, Arthur moved to LA and was couch hopping at the time, so Jeffree invited him to stay with him. According to Arthur, their first night together, they actually went to the movies. During that movie, Jeffree made advances on him, which Arthur rejected. According to Arthur, Star later attacked him with a taser in the theater parking lot after the movie in retaliation. That night, Arthur told Insider Star gave him Ambien pills until he was intoxicated, then performed non-consensual oral acts on him. And then in a shocking turn of events, 3 weeks after Arthur gave these statements to Insider, he was contacted by Jeffree's lawyers. A few hours after that, he told Insider that he wasn't sure if he had remembered things correctly and saying that he was retracting his communication to Insider. I mean, clearly Jeffree's lawyers got to him. But it became clear later that Arthur was paid off by Jeffree after Insider got messages from another source that Arthur offered them $10,000 to not share their story with Jeffree. However, an anonymous source later confirmed Arthur's accounts to Insider. And other sources, including Neil, the Warped Tour stage manager, said that Star would regularly use tasing devices on people. Like, apparently it was actually a very well-known thing. Neil even said that Star caused problems on one summer's tour between 2008 and 2010 with his use of that stun gun, with Neil explaining that they gave Jeffree the taser to protect himself because he was getting, various threats from the audience. But Neil later learned that Star was going around just tasing everyone. In another attempt to discredit Arthur's claims, Star's attorney presented another witness named Amor Hilton that said that they were close with Arthur, and Hilton claimed that Arthur was lying and trying to extort Jeffree. Another allegation against Jeffree was from 2007. Britton Strack claimed he was groped by Jeffree on May 19th of 2007 in Anchorage, Alaska. Strack, who worked sound and other production roles at the venue Jeffree was performing at, said he was wearing spandex shorts that night. And after being introduced to Jeffree groped his genitals. Neil, the stage manager, added that he personally witnessed Star grope both, quote, guys and girls on stage, and described one of Star's shticks as pulling people on stage and being inappropriate with them. Apparently, these acts were actually the reason that Jeffree was blacklisted from that tour later, with Neil adding, quote, things like the three-way kissing and feeling each other up. It was the reason that we never booked him again. We used to book him at various venues in the Northeast, and someone who worked with me used to book him at tours and shows. Once I became aware of that behavior, that was it. I didn't want anything to do with him. Another accusation came from Chris Avery Bennett, who ran a gay rights blog on MySpace as a teenager. Bennett claims that she received an unsolicited picture of Jeffree's genitalia, with her saying to Insider, quote, "Jeffree Star was my first bully, my first real bully and abuser. Jeffree is a bully, but the way that Jeffree does things goes far beyond and turns into actual harm." After Bennett called out Star online for his behavior, Star got all of his fans to attack Bennett online, leading her to delete her MySpace profile, as well as leading to very serious mental health issues. And before the article was published, Bennett was approached by Arthur, the man before that retracted his story to Insider. In the messages, Arthur tells Bennett that Jeffree will give Bennett $10,000 to retract their statements, just like Arthur had. But Bennett refused, saying that they wanted to open the door for others to speak up against Jeffree. And now to highlight these more recent allegations. One man named Drake Cherry recently came out on TikTok saying that he was at a concert at Chain Reaction in Anaheim, California, in an all-ages venue, when Jeffree came up behind him and violently grabbed his butt. Saying in his now deleted TikTok, quote, "In between one of the bands, I went outside to have a cigarette, and then I bent over to tie my shoe, and someone grabbed my ass," with him adding that it was a large grab, not just like an innocent little pinch. So from all these accounts, it's clear that Jeffree Star not only has a past of racist language and aggressive behavior, but of much, much worse. And there are probably many more stories out there of people who were violated by Jeffree or worse while he was a touring musician. So that's all for the story today, guys. Let me know your thoughts below and fill me in on any more stories that I might have missed. I think I covered them all, but I know that there were a lot coming out at one point in time, so it's difficult to compile them all, but definitely there are a lot of negative allegations similar to this coming out about Jeffree. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from my video on Kardashian fails. Bluebird on my shoulder said, "Let's just say that I may or may not have learned as a child that having a horrible stomach flu may cause confusion on which end you may projectile from. Sometimes both at the same time." I have heard that before. I'm so happy I've never experienced this. I probably will in my life, just like the way it goes, but like, that sounds horrifying. Thank you so much for sharing. Then JJD said, "The Kardashian family makes my family look normal and my family is weird as hell." You know what? There's one thing about the Kardashians I respect. I do feel like their family dynamic is actually very good and they actually really love each other, so that's really nice. The Truth Lover said, "Viagra Coffee was funny. I remember all of these. Memories of when it was cool. Been years." Honestly, the early episodes of that show were so good. Those are my favorites. As it goes on later and they just become way more unrelatable, it's just like not as entertaining. But the first few seasons of that show were gold. I used to rewatch those all of the time. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thank you so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and want to see some more, make sure to like and sub to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I will catch you all in the next one.